We might feel obligated to spend more time with others than we do with ourselves. We also need to detox. We also need to have alone time to reflect and to be able to feel happy with what we see, with what we feel, and be able to get a feedback. Hello, welcome to this video. I am Tatiana. On this channel we talk about feminine energetics, spirituality, leveling up our lives, our frequencies as part of the Femme universe. We're gonna dive in, I'll answer some questions, and we're gonna do a little meditation at the end. Okay, let's go back to basics for a moment. For energy to exist, to vibrate, there has to be duality happening. Just like when you plug a cord, one part is male, the other one is female. So there's always duality happening, even though we can't see it. If you were to look through a microscope, you would see that even parts that seem solid, they are constantly vibrating. Feminine and masculine energies dance with one another to collaborate, to design, to create life. By nature, female bodies will have significantly more feminine energy than male bodies. Typically, the ratio is about, for a female body, 70 to 90% she will be in her feminine energies, and for a male body, it will be about 70 to 90% also dominating in the masculine energy field. When we connect to our feminine energy, we activate our intuition. We activate sensors to enjoy the present, to be present. We also become a lot more vulnerable. That's why we need to have healthy and stable masculine energy to create confidence, stability, to support our body. We need both feminine and masculine energies for action to happen, to have a thriving, flowy state, for things to get done, to build, to create, to make things actually happen in real life, to tackle those tasks and to thrive in a flowy state. So when we're able to work with our own body's nature, it's as if we're following a flow. So we are already going towards that natural direction, and as we work alongside, other things become a lot more effortless. We also have to take into consideration how male and female bodies are very different. They have different needs. Female bodies, we have on average a 28-day cycle that reflects very much a lunar cycle. We follow the moon, and men have a 24-hour cycle. So for us ladies, our cycle is going to look very much like this, and the male body is going to look a lot more like this. Not like this, like this. It's like cars. There are sports cars, there are SUVs. Each ones are designed to thrive in different environments and to have their own effortless features. As ladies, we should learn to master our own vehicle, our own nature. Nowadays we have information that we have very easy access to thanks to technology, but also we don't get the best in-depth information. We have taken away the focus on what is actually thriving, organic, natural, and have replaced it with quick ways to get the visuals going, so that way there is a visual stimulation and we trick our minds thinking that something is the answer, but it's not, because it doesn't favor our own biology, it doesn't favor our own science and history. And when we look at epigenetics, when we look at evolutionary history, we are able to see a guidance map that we don't follow nowadays. We just were never told how to utilize our own vehicles. We could have the most amazing car in the world, but if we only know how to turn it on, turn it off, and we don't know the other features that it does, we're gonna be able to get it moving, but we're not gonna make the best out of it. Up until recently, in the last centuries, women used to coming together in nature under a full moon, a new moon, and share what was going on, share what they had learned, what they had experienced, and together learn from one another. And as women, this is information that is very beneficial for us, especially as in society we are not encouraged to necessarily get to know ourselves, get to know our bodies, and being able to be around a community of women where we feel supported, we feel safe, and we could share beauty tips, we could share all sorts of advice. Now the challenge is that with our current generation is that we are not learning. A lot of the advice that is shared on the internet might not be actually backed up and might not be researched, but anyone can share anything that they want. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily beneficial. There is less accountability, and as women we're confused, and as a result our hormones are all over the place. We don't know how to regulate them, how to balance them, what's going to be actually beneficial, what women have been taking for hundreds and thousands of years to soothe pain in a natural way without needing to use medications, or even worse, continuing to build habits that our bodies just show us that are not sustainable. And as a result, we experience more depression, we feel tired, we feel fatigued, we feel that we have more headaches, when what we needed to do was learn how to understand our bodies, understand how to communicate with them, increase our intuition, and be able to thrive with healthy bodies. So that brings me to the first point, our intuition. When we exercise our intuition, we activate our feminine energies as we learn to intuitively communicate just what we need to understand. Our bodies, through evolution, have had to learn to remember things. Our bodies are extremely smart, and for our own survival and evolution, we have adapted, but the main core and the main essence of the feminine energy has been the same from the beginnings of time. It takes both feminine and masculine energies to be able to create life. When we actually take the time to build a healthy relationship with our bodies, similar to when we learn to communicate with an animal, we learn their behaviors, we learn what works, we learn their body language. We also have our own body language for ourselves, not just for others, but the ones that need to be cultivated for us to know how to understand it. That is also why when we think of women and moons and wolves, that is all mesmerizing. It's related to one another. We literally communicate with our bodies. As we listen to our bodies, our senses get activated. And as a byproduct, we exude more confidence. We get to know ourselves better and make healthier choices. So here are more tips to activating your feminine energy. Meditate. When we meditate, we train ourselves to listen with our full senses, to be more embodied than distracted with what's around or with what we might have forgotten. Let's keep in mind that it is the mind's job to keep us safe, to keep us out of danger, and to remind us of things that we have to do. That's how we were able to survive through evolution. However, the mind is a tool. We can look at everything that has been built, from creating great ideas, from being able to create a structure on how to build them. So the mind has its benefits, but when it comes to relaxing, it doesn't have the easiest time, because it tries to be alert. And although it's good and we need that instinct to be alert and be able to be protected at all times, We also need to relax and ease the conscious so that way our subconscious can just flow, resulting in more peace, resulting in more intuition and more activations to happen. For a healthy lifestyle, it has so many benefits. So a practice that I love when I meditate that has helped me a lot is to listen attentively. Every little sound, feel my breath and my body as if I'm giving it permission to relax and just float in the moment. And if I catch myself thinking and getting distracted, I acknowledge it as if it was a puppy trying to get my attention. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. And then I go back to meditating, going back to feeling tuned into my body. It's not that the things that we're being reminded of are not important. It's that we're exercising our intuition in practice, trusting on ourselves. We trust that we can handle having 5, 10, 15 minutes just dedicated to recharging through our soul, through our connection to infinite potential. So yes, it's absolutely powerful to meditate. Speaking of meditations, I have created a beautiful and visual meditations that are available on my channel. There is a dedicated playlist and you can find meditations that range from 10 minutes to 8 hours that you can listen to while you sleep. If that's something that you're interested in checking out, I will have them linked and available for you. Next is to spend more time creating, crafting, cooking, anything that connects you to your creative side. This is another way to be present and in the moment as we are creating and we are connecting to our soul, to our heart space. We're trusting our intuition, we're going with our own flow, we're trusting that we know what we're doing and we're doing it safely, we're doing it beautifully. And rather than overthinking, what we're doing is that we are relaxing and trusting the process. Have you noticed that when you're relaxed, when you're doing a manual activity and you're just in the moment, somehow you realize that you're like on autopilot and the next step just happens. You don't really have to overthink it. The next step just seems to land on its own. When I was in high school, I took multiple art classes. That was one of my things. I was definitely an art student. It runs in the family for sure. And I remember some of my best artworks I created were the ones I had a solid reference, of course, and as I was creating them, I was just relaxed. I had classical music playing in the background. I was being present without realizing it. And somehow they just turned out great, even though I had my own inner critic. Teachers would ask me how I did something and I would give them the logical answer. I mixed this with this. But when it was about the craft itself, I just didn't know what to say. I just did it. It just happened. That's the power of creativity. That's the power of being present in the now. We're able to mix our creativity to create these beautiful things that are so effortless. And it doesn't need to be explained by logic to be effective and for art to speak for itself. It speaks for itself. Next, we have me time. As ladies, it is important to know how to spend time alone, to know how to groom ourselves. Not only is it great for building a healthy mind and body connection and healthy confidence, but we also get feedback from our bodies and increase our non-verbal communication and intuition. Have a skincare routine you love to do before you go to sleep. Have a beautiful morning ritual. Play beautiful music that makes you happy, that makes you feel feminine, relaxed. Spend time with your face, with your hair, with your body, and assess what types of things are working and which ones are not working, what choices need to be healthier, so that way you can nurture your body better and feel rejuvenated and keep a healthy cycle going. Your future self will thank you. You will feel more radiant, more confident. You are going to be happy embracing your own skin. This one is one that we easily forget and procrastinate on. It's very easy to neglect spending time getting to know ourselves. We might feel obligated to spend more time with others than we do with ourselves. We also need to detox. We also need to have alone time to reflect and to be able to feel happy with what we see, with what we feel, and be able to get a feedback on how things are going with our bodies. We might feel that that's selfish. It's not selfish. It's actually an amazing practice. The more time that we invest in ourselves, getting to know ourselves, getting to know our bodies, building a healthy relationship with ourselves first, the easier it's going to be creating and cultivating healthy relationships with others. Start having healthy check-ins, working out, dancing, feeling fluidity going around our bodies. Start being able to spend a quality time with ourselves. As little as it is, or as little as you have, is better than not spending any time at all. Next is to move the body, having a feminine flow that allows the stagnant energy that we have accumulated, that we have built up, that doesn't feel good, to be released with ease, allowing our bodies to feel better, healthier, and more attuned to our intuition. Intuition is a big one when connecting to our feminine energy. When we dance, we activate our senses, all of our senses. We release dopamine, we feel happier, and it's also a fun way to work out without having to leave the house. It also helps with posture. When our posture is good and when it's balanced, our bodies feel more confident, they feel more solid, and we're able to catch misalignments a lot faster. So it's a good thing to exercise and also focus on the core. Next, eat more fruits and veggies. The feminine energy is fertility itself. It is creation manifested in material form. Just like when we look at nature, when we eat what reminds us of abundance, such as fruits, we remember how in nature there's plenty. They're a symbol of health, of energy, of aliveness, of lushness, and it's also very fun, very colorful. And we get to connect more with our own creative energy. We consume fiber that rejuvenates our skin. We can even turn on the creativity and use it to manifest appearances. It's happened. There's people like Fully Raw Christina whose eye color changed from brown to hazel green from eating so much green over time. The feminine energy is playful, it is creative. She can say and affirm, my body feels slender and younger the more fruits I eat. My eyes get greener the more greens I eat. And it's a fun way of planting seeds of possibilities. Manifesting can be fun and enjoyable. It can be cute. And it doesn't have to have an essay for the logical side of our brains to accept it. We can just have fun with it. And when it happens, it can be like, ah, it worked. It's fun. And having fun helps us feeling young and staying young. Next, practice gratitude more often. As feminine energy is the receiving energy, being able to receive from a gracious, joyful, and pure place not only inspires others to continue to want to give us more, but also keeps us feeling young, feeling happy, appreciative, like a kid on Christmas morning. It is also related to our inner flow, to our flow of receiving. When we practice gratitude, it's a good exercise to cultivate flow and structure at the same time with our masculine energy. It's like having your own vase with water inside. The base being the masculine energy, bringing structure, bringing solidity, and the water being the feminine flow. As a byproduct, we also get to exercise our connection to our masculine energy, and we feel supported, which leads to feeling confident, allowing more masculine energies to support us, to allow money to have a more effortless path to reach us. So next time someone does something nice for you, or hands you a present, or is just happy helping you, practice and exercise being grateful. You will invite more things to be grateful for, to be multiplied as manifestations, and the other person will feel the energetic exchange as prosperous. Spend time in nature. When we are in nature, we allow our conscious mind to be present, to be grounded, and our subconscious mind gets to exercise and feel comfortable around abundance. As subliminally in nature, everything is growing. It is always growing. It is always rejuvenating. Everything has a plan. Everything is alive. Everything is changing. And when we allow our subconscious mind to be at ease, crafting, creating, multiplying, doing the things behind the scenes that we are not as conscious of, but the subliminals of nature are prosperity, are healthy, are related to our own nature. And our state of being feels more at ease. We are in a better mood. We are stable. We feel able to connect to ourselves and others in more nurturing and organic ways. And something fun to practice, if we get the chance, we can allow our feet to connect with the ground, with the soil, earthing, getting directly grounded and re-energized from nature itself. It has many benefits, as biologically speaking, over thousands of years. It is now that we spend more time on rubber, our shoes, and less time directly receiving those benefits from Mother Nature that boost our energy, our immune system, our mood, and has a positive impact on our overall health. Next, be more selective. Be more selective of who connects to you. What we don't realize is that people have connections like cords, like plugs. That's how we're able to empathize. That's how we're able to communicate in verbal and non-verbal ways, in metaphysical ways, things that we can't see with the human eye, but we can sense energetically, we can send and receive energetically. And it is a rude reality, because not everyone deserves to be connected and plugged to your energy, especially if you're someone who takes the time to keep a healthy lifestyle, to keep a clean environment. If you try to keep your lifestyle as clean as possible, healthy and thriving, you are like this shiny object that looks healthy, and of course people are going to plug into that. However, when people do that, who prefer to be stuck on things that do not benefit them, who are stuck in toxic patterns, who are stuck in victim mentality, and they don't see the end of the line. They don't believe in something bigger than themselves. They repeat the habits, and years go by and things don't change. You will feel depleted. You will feel like you are acquiring an inner depth with yourself as a consequence of allowing others to source from you, kind of like a bank, except that they don't pay back. And having these types of conversations is a big part of this channel. This helps us to realize where we are going with our energies. There are evolved versions of energies and unevolved versions. And a big part of the Femme universe is not only to be able to cultivate feminine energetics that benefit us, but sometimes we do have to have a hard look at life and be able to realize what's working, what's not working, to be able to fix things. So that way, on the other end, we can come out enlightened, we can come out stronger, we can come out with growth and leveling our lives up, our frequencies higher, and be able to be an energetic match from a place of abundance, from a place of health, from a place of expansion. And we can continue to multiply that with people who are on a similar mission, who are also on a mission of leveling up their lifestyle, being able to be accountable for themselves, being able to have healthy communication even when it's not easy. But we have to be an energetic match for them, and they have to be an energetic match for us, so that way we are reciprocal. So remove, or at the very least limit, toxic people. Cut out drama, get repelled faster by lower vibrational patterns. When we connect to lower vibrations, we allow our energy to be essentially taken from us. The friends that we had 10 years ago might not be the same friends that we're going to see 10 years from now. Family is typically the one that remains consistent, even though in some scenarios there could be family members who are also toxic, and in that aspect you also have to limit yourself. You also have to set your boundaries regardless of who they are, and people have to understand and support you with that, especially if they are family members, especially if you're coming from a place of truth, of honesty, and of healthy boundaries. People respect people who come in confidently knowing what they want, and don't feel afraid to be able to exercise that quality, because it is something that, especially in family dynamics, we are conditioned to believe that we have to be supportive of everything and anything. And sometimes there are predators within our family who would rather take the road that is more harmful, that is more toxic, that is more dramatic, that is more entertaining, than to actually do something healthier for once in their life. And you don't have to be someone who enables that. We don't have to connect to people who are involved in things that we wouldn't do ourselves, or that we can see a mile away this is not gonna go anywhere good. And as entertaining as drama is, it is fruitless. And it becomes a lot easier to know what to do the more time that you spend and enjoy by yourself, or you spend it with people who are also on a similar path, who are also on a similar conversational level, who inspire you to continue to nurture even your vocabulary. People who listen, and you dive into an enlightening and philosophical conversations to rise up together, to build more together. to create more, to keep the vision high, and higher. And at the same time, there is a structure, there is a flow, and there is a structure as well. So that way things are not just said and, that was a cute conversation and then just nothing happened. Which is still better than making small talk because you feel you have to, or out of fear that you're not going to be accepted or liked, or to stay on the loop of things that don't have a benefit for you. So don't be afraid to be more selective of how and who you spend your time with. You'll find yourself being less distracted and with more time to do more creative things, to build things better, and somehow you're gonna start to realize that all that time that you could have spent on things that didn't really matter in the long term, you could have spent on yourself. So it's important to realize how we spend or how we waste our energies. I'm so busy, I don't seem to find the time to dedicate proper time to connect with myself and end up procrastinating and nothing happens at all. Okay. So for many people and their busy schedule, this may feel more like a challenge. If that's the case, there's ways to work around it. Like being fully present is not something that requires you to be on a sanctuary or a church or somewhere nice. It does help a lot. It activates more of the senses, but it doesn't mean that that's the only way. Check in with your body as you have a break. It could also be a bathroom break. And when you're washing your hands, feeling the water as you cleanse them, feeling that temperature connecting to the fluidity of water, looking at your hands, looking at your nails, being able to be present at that moment, and even notice, oh, I have some very cute veins over here. But being able to connect to your body at that moment, being able to connect at a physical level, being present and being grounded is one of the benefits of meditation, which can also be translated and activated in other creative ways. So being able to take that moment when you're just washing your hands and take an ordinary moment and turn it into something special, that's when we do that, our subconscious already knows what to do next. It's able to have a spotlight on itself. If you didn't know what to do, by being able to connect to yourself, have the intention to get the solution or come up with a different version, it comes to you because you are allowing it permission to reach you. And we're able to get there faster and easier when we silence our mind, when we listen with our presence, when we connect that intuition and turn it up. And out of nowhere, just intuitively and effortlessly, that's when ideas and solutions arrive because they have a path, they have a flow, they have a direction. You just have to set the intention, and also remember that there's other ways to go about different things depending on what your goal is. If, for example, you don't have time to read books, well, there's also great audiobooks, and I'd love to recommend The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle and The Greatest Secret is by Rhonda Byrne, who created The Secret. Both of these books are amazing. Both of them are available on Audible. You can allow it to just play wherever you are and still get those downloads, still get the information coming to you rather than nothing at all. And let's be honest, when it comes to culture music, it's trash. It doesn't really have a big benefit. We listen to advice from people who talk about their struggles, who talk about sexualizing women, who talk about being better at doing inappropriate things, that ultimately they end up being distractions. That's not something sustainable. That's not something that is going to nurture the mind. It's not going to nurture our souls. Rather, it's distraction, is like junk food, and it has no place in a clean, healthy lifestyle. Over the past few years, my listening style has changed to being a lot more connected to music that does not have lyrics, that has more of a relaxing theme. And if I do listen to music that has lyrics, I love it when it connects me to something that makes me feel like my inner power is expanding and growing, and the lyrics are just a nice bonus on top of that. So it's also how we prioritize what we listen to, what we consume, what our everyday day looks like. It can be enhanced, it can be refined by just doing little things, by playing music that is relaxing, by playing music that makes you feel so connected to your soul, by playing audiobooks on the background, by being able to listen to content that you've been wanting to listen for a while, like a course, for example. There's so many different ways in which you can practice things on the background. But if you physically cannot play or connect to any of that, being present, being attuned to your body, exercising your 5 senses is going to be very beneficial as well. And that's something that I would suggest if you really are in a moment where you don't have time for you. You can always make it about you. Just bring it back to you, bring it back to your heart, bring it back to your body, to your connection. Also, when we realize that we have the same 24 hours as everyone else, and sometimes all it requires and takes to be able to make those little changes, make those little habit changes that make such a big impact, are just related to our perspective, are related to what we prioritize. And we also can always get help. There's always ways to simplify things. We just have to be open to them, even if they don't seem sustainable at the beginning. At least trying them and seeing how we like them. Like, for example, if you don't have time to cook, like ordering something, being able to find other alternatives. There's so many different tools that are available for us from people who also went through something similar and they wanted to find a solution, and they ended up finding a solution and making it available for others to benefit from. It's just a matter of looking for the solution, finding the solution, and being able to do something that works for you. Okay, next question. I am a man and I love connecting with my feminine energy. What are some ways to do that while balancing with my masculine side? Okay, although this channel's content is made for female audience, as we talk about more things relating to women's health and moon cycles, for example, and it's important to have a safe container where we feel safe talking about those and normalizing these types of conversations, men are welcome to learn as well. Men who are more in tune with their feminine energy side have an easier time connecting to their creativity, to an easier flow, to even receiving those ideas, receiving that type of communication from themselves is also important. And it's not something that a lot of men are encouraged to do or pursue. And similarly, the counterpart to this would be a woman who is connected way more to her masculine energy side to get things done, to feel supported and safe, to provide for herself, to provide for her family. For a man to balance his masculine and feminine energies, let's remember that biologically speaking, men have significantly more testosterone than women. And testosterone is what helps them to do things, to move heavy things, to be able to perform more physically when they work out, when they go out for a walk. Men naturally have more resistance and endurance, and when they're able to to exercise more on what they're building, what they are structuring for their life. Even lifting from weights to lifting ideas, lifting themselves. That all comes a lot more effortless and definitely should be pursued for a healthier and rewarding lifestyle with confidence. And that is when a man can give all of his focus and determination to tackle down his goals, and then, for example, connect to a meditation and practice in peace and feel and receive that balance within the body, feel that unity within the body, mind, and soul connection, kind of like Bruce Lee, and be able to have a flow and connect to that chi, to that energy, where things just flow a lot easier, and he feels supported, he feels like a rock himself, he feels that he is reliable, and therefore he can trust in himself, he can build healthier relationships with others, and be able to activate those healthy habits. And being able to exercise that way is going to have a very beneficial ripple effect on the entirety, on the rest of the life that he is building, that he's crafting, that he's creating. So meditating, mindful eating, being able to be conscious of what type of foods enter his body, being more selective of what type of content he tunes into and pays attention to, what type of content is being consumed overall. Is it something that's beneficial, or the entertainment is way too bigger compared to all that he wants to build, and is this sustainable? Being able to tune into more to a heart-centered place, being able to connect to his inner compass. All of that is going to come out naturally when he prioritizes the connection to building from a soul-centered place, a heart-driven place, a brave heart, being able to tune into feeling and sensing and listening to the communication coming from their bodies, from what part of the body it's coming from, and if it's coming from a place where it's too distracting or it's more enlightening, and being able to differentiate between those is what's going to make the difference between having structure, having direction, having a way of living that is sustainable, and planting seeds for the future. When we're talking about male biology, the other day I was watching the Blue Lagoon, and something that I always liked about the type of innocence being represented, and it's beautiful to see from a raw and more innocent perspective, even the types of frustrations and how male bodies deal with frustration different than female bodies deal with frustration. For a man to be able to learn self-control, to be able to learn discipline, to be able to build, to be able to not just build with his hands, but also that translates to building a life, being able to be a provider, being able to have the type of direction where there's less emphasis on things that are considered more like junk food, and going more for the organic, what's sustainable. That will bring so much benefits, not only for him but also for his future and the future of the family. They're gonna learn from someone who has taken the time to improve anything that needed to be improved and continue to test his limits. That's a healthy male energy source that anyone can benefit from his nieces and nephews, to have a healthy example, to the kids down the line, to even the relationship he has with his mother. And all of that is a great benefit from being able to tune in internally, as again the feminine energy is the one that receives, is the one that relaxes, is the one that has that flow. And for a man to use that 10 to 30% of feminine flow, it can be beneficial in that aspect. And something that I would recommend also for more masculine energy content that will make sense a lot easier for men's encoded biology, I would recommend checking out Stefan Speaks. Effortless Alpha by Kevin Bruce Scott and Tony Robbins. Those are the ones that come to mind right now. For a while, I felt that it's easier and safer to connect to my feminine energy as a competitive woman. I find myself thriving, but I feel there's something missing and find it difficult to relax and trust other people, including other women. Could it be the balance with my feminine energy side? Okay. It's great when women are ambitious, absolutely. Having that alpha energy, that sigma energy, it's healthy when building the life of our dreams, as that is part of the reason why we're alive. There's so much that we have to get accomplished. We're here for a purpose, and finding our purpose and pursuing our purpose is crucial as part of our development, for not just career-wise, but also as a human being. I personally love being around women who lead themselves. I find that those are the easiest connections for me. And what I've also noticed is that when women are ambitious under the society where we live nowadays, that has a lot more expectations for women to be able to be independent, and a woman should be independent. But part of the conflict arises when we live in a society that has a messy structure, and the ways of being have a lot to do with how we care, how we show that we actually care. But it turns out that that's not how that person wanted to receive care, or how we care for a project, or how we care for our careers, and how another person might have a different perspective, and they might have the ability to call the shots. So there's a lot more that it feels like walking on eggshells when it comes to the structure that establishment has already created. It's not like in school we learn about how to cultivate healthy relationships with our feminine side, with our feminine energies, how to utilize masculine energy to our benefit, to aid with that structure when we're building the life of our dreams. So we live in a more competitive world. We have been essentially programmed to feel in competition, just looking at advertisements and feeling that we don't measure up to the woman who is being shown on display, or hearing men not having boundaries when it comes to how they describe women, and women believing that in order to be eligible they have to fit into a category where she has to give samples for free, essentially. But also, the more in competition women feel, the more energetically drained they will also feel as a result, especially when feeling in competition with another woman. As women, we are biologically designed to be the nurturers, the gatherers, and men biologically have been designed to be the competitive ones, to be the ones that go after that goal, which doesn't mean that women cannot have goals. It just means that it's more effortless for men, and for women it's more effortless to be the gatherers, to be the ones that continue to keep nurture, to keep a community together, to know how to best assist her own community, which will turn into her own family. Being able to keep a healthy community is one of the main qualities that a woman exudes, and that helps societies to thrive. So when it comes to feeling competitive, feeling intimidated, feeling jealous, all of those things are not beneficial to our health. And especially as women, we're a lot more sensitive. We have to be able to, coming from a place of confidence and self-love and self-respect, to know that there's always plenty. Otherwise, we might feel like we're in scarcity, and that makes our bodies feel extremely tensed up. It makes us feel, it might also make us manifest more things that make us feel worse as a result. And that's the hard look at life that sometimes we need to accept, not because we want it, but because by accepting it, we're also accepting its opposite. We are accepting the solution of the remedy at the same time. That's the beauty of energy dynamics, knowing that for everything there is an opposite. And going back to the topic of competition, masculine energy is by nature more competitive, and feminine energy is more community oriented. And we're talking about not that we're 100% something, but it's more effortless. One energy is more of, this is the last glass of water and I am a warrior and I'm going to win it and I'm gonna feel victorious. And the other one is, oh, look, there's plenty of water over there. Oh, there's fruits over there. Or there's mint leaves over there. You see, the difference is the perspective on how we choose to look at things. Because either way, we're going to walk the walk. And it's up to us to decide if we want to be more relaxed and enjoy and just allow things to happen as if they are in our favor, as if everything's in our favor, or frustrate ourselves more, drag ourselves more, feel a lot more stress, feel a lot more competition, when it's not sustainable in a healthy way if our own body is telling us that it's stress when it happens. And that comes from understanding our own biology, understanding our own needs, understanding how we thrive and what challenges us and what type of challenges we can take on. And it doesn't mean that we can't face challenges. It just means that we can change and shift our perception and allow for God to show up in ways that are supportive of us. It doesn't have to turn into Mean Girls universe type of way where women are manipulating, they're stepping over others, lying to each other, changing narratives. It doesn't have to be that type of drama. It can be a lot easier than you think. Especially if you remove yourself from the drama, if you're just observant of the drama happening in front of you, which happens at every workplace to some extent, as that's part of what happens when you are around a lot of people and everyone's going to have a different story. They're going to have different goals. Some of them are going to be dealing with challenges and trying to communicate those challenges to find strength, to connect to other people, to get some strength from. So ladies, let's remember, when it comes to competition, let's just relax, allow nature to be in our favor. And if you want to watch competition and where it thrives more in the male body. That is why in nature you see that the big majority, and we're talking about millions of species, we're talking about of what we know when we think of an animal who is trying to attract another animal. Who attracts who? The male attracts the female. The male sets up a way to attract the female. The female is the one that receives the gifts coming from the male. And even nowadays, we make it easier for men. And biologically speaking, they're not gonna feel as rewarded, as fulfilled if they're not the ones actually going the distance for you. When a woman makes it too easy for a man to show that she cares and to show that she is in it before there's any type of real physical commitment, we're dooming ourselves. It is so much easier and simpler when we remember how nature has our back. And this also reminds me, this is also why feminine women who are connected to their intuitive side, to their soft side, who are more concerned about nurturing themselves, are not going to accept a man who makes them feel at competition with another woman. As not fair as it sounds, in nature, let's remember, it is the male who has to thrive in competition, who has to be more structured, who has to have more mental agility, who has to be able to be the protector and provider. In nature, it is males who thrive in competition. Now, there's a lot of really nasty competition, and I'm not talking about the unhealthy one. I'm talking about the healthy and more elevated competition, there's even etiquette that can be implemented. And a lady loves a gentleman. That is not a secret. So let's remember, ladies, that in nature, females are the prize, not the other way around. He provides the tools and the materials so that way you can build a world together. So if you ever feel a competition, ask yourself, is this the only way? Or is there another way that I might not be aware of, but I'm open to receiving? Is there an easier way? Is there a more effortless way? Being open to receiving another way that actually works for us, is how we connect to God, how we connect to the universe, to Mother Nature, and being able to tune into our bodies, to our intuition, and relax and take it one thing at a time, rather than feeling the burnout, rather than feeling the stress, noticing even that our menstrual cycle suffers the consequences of the stress by being delayed. It does show us that, again, our bodies give us feedback. We can choose how we walk our walk. It can be balanced, it can be graceful, or we can just feel like we're being chased by coyotes and we have to get to the other side and we might trip on the way. Or we can take it easy. It's still going to take time to get to the other side, so we might as well enjoy it. Let's do a quick body scan meditation. So let's get comfortable and relax your shoulders and just be present. This is a moment to tune into our bodies, and this is a moment for ourselves more than anything. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Two more deep breaths. Hear the serenity surrounding you. Tune into your body. So flow into this with me. Let's start at the bottom. Let's start with our feet. How do our feet feel? We can wiggle them a little. Wiggle our toes. And now imagine as if you were in front of the ocean and a wave of energy was making its way up from your feet up to your knees. Feel this subtle shift of energy. And feel it rise up again. This time feel it as if it was up to your thighs. Just feel it, feel the temperature, feel the balance in your body. And let's rise up. This time let's bring it up to our belly, as if it's playing with our belly button. Feel the fluidity inside of your body. Now imagine it's going up to your heart, and imagine as if white light is surrounding your body and energy is coming back to your body through your heart. It's re-energizing through a heart center place. Now now take it up your throat and feel your throat. Feel how it feels. If you're sick recently, like me at the time of this recording, it might feel a little congested. But regardless, take a moment to appreciate it. We're able to communicate thanks to our throat. Alright, now bring your hands together and wrap them around your face as if you're cleansing it. Thank your face for the presence, for its radiance, for its beauty, for being yours. Yours to smile with, yours to feel with, yours to express with. And let's end wrapping our hands around our head, down the back of our necks. Let's thank our bodies for everything that they do, for everything that we're able to accomplish with them. Thank you. And when you're ready, come back. Feel free to share your comments and any light bulb moments on the comment section down below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I had fun creating it. If you did, let me know visually with your thumbs up. I appreciate that energetic feedback. Feel free to check out the description below for more ways to connect with me, connect with my world. If you would like notifications when I upload content, make sure to have the bell notification on. I'll see you in the next video.